Hey everyone, welcome to Massachusetts Sports Central. These are our NFL game picks for Week 11. Week 11 has fewer buys again with 4 teams this week, so we have 14 games. In Week 10, we went 10-4, which was a nice bounce back week after being subpar in Week 9. That brings the overall record to 91-55 on the season. So this week we have 4 teams with a bye: the 49ers, Colts, Jets, and Panthers. Okay, on to the Week 11 games. Starting with the Thursday game, we have Titans at Steelers. Matchup of two of the stronger playoff contenders in the AFC in this one. I like the Titans in the South, but the Steelers are arguably the best team in the AFC, if not the whole league. Even even with last week's poor performance against the Colts. I'm going to take the Steelers. They're going to take this one 30-23. All right, on to the 1 p.m. Sunday games. Starting off, we have the Lions at Bears. The Bears effectively ended their season with a loss at home to the Packers last week. The Lions, on the other hand, are in a crowded field of teams just outside the playoffs in the NFC. The Lions are the better team, and they need to win their games against bad teams to keep in the hunt, so they will take this game. Lions win 24-17. Our next game is the Jags at the Browns. I didn't think the Jags would be any good to start the season, so had this as a pretty competitive game and had the Browns winning it preseason. Still don't love the Jags, but they aren't bad, and the Browns are just terrible. So the Jags will take this one easily, 24-9. Next up are the Ravens at the Packers. Both teams are still in the hunt, but have the odds against them. The loser will really be in a tough position in the playoff hunt. This will have a lot to do with if the Packers defense that shut down the Bears running game last week and the decent offense that scored plenty on a decent Bears defense comes to play this week. If those things happen, they have the advantage. I'll put faith in that being the team that will show up, and the Packers win it 2016. Next game is Cards at Texans. The Cards really are a terrible team despite having a handful of wins. The Texans were a good team that has been destroyed with injuries. Houston has looked horrible since Watson went down for the year. I see the Cards going from possibly the worst 4-win team in the league to definitely being the worst 5-win team in the league with a 16-10 win over the Texans. We have the Bucks at Dolphins next. Both of these teams were supposed to be on the bye, but their Week 1 game was moved to this week because of the hurricane. Both teams are underperforming expectations for the season. While both are underwhelming, the Bucks are one of the worst teams in the league. So taking the Fins at home in an ugly one that could go either way, but Dolphins win 17-14. Next, we have one of the best games of the week with the Rams going to Minnesota to face the Vikings. This game could have impact on home field and who gets a bye in the NFC playoffs. Rams have a tougher division fight, so need to fire on all cylinders for every game. This should be a good one and really hard to decide on it. I will go with the elite Vikings defense holding down the dynamic Rams offense while doing just enough on offense to pull it off. Vikes take it 23-21. Coming up next is Chiefs at the Giants. Probably the biggest mismatch of the week. KC is one of the better teams in the AFC, and the Giants are one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. Big mismatch that KC will take advantage of with a 30-17 win. All right, last early game is Redskins at the Saints. I think the Saints will do enough on offense to keep it interesting, but the Skins will do enough on offense to keep it interesting, but the Saints' surprisingly good defense will keep them from doing too much, while the Saints' offense will do well at home, and the Saints will take it 27-23. Moving to the late games, we had the Bills at Chargers. So, who will want it less? Both of these teams try to find ways to lose, it seems, recently. The Bills are still in the 6th slot in the playoffs, so they really can't drop more games to weaker teams with the tough second half schedule. Assuming Rivers can play, with his being in concussion protocol and all. I will give them an advantage, especially with the Bills making the odd move of benching Taylor for Peterman. Don't see the offensive spark for Buffalo, and LA takes it 24-13. Next game is Bengals at Broncos. Both teams have been disappointing this year. Denver still has one of the better home field advantages in the sport. While I don't think that much of the Broncos, I think the Bengals are just bad. Denver wins an ugly game 17-10. Final afternoon game is New England traveling to Mexico City to take on the Raiders. Going into the season, this will look like a marquee matchup. Now, with the Raiders falling far short of expectations, this isn't a fight for the number one seed people thought it might be. The Pats look much stronger, and even if the crowd is mostly Raider friendly, it isn't the same as going to the black hole. So the Patriots should win this one pretty easily, 34-20. Moving to prime time, we have a big NFC East game with the Eagles visiting Jerry World to face the Cowboys. Pretty much if Dallas doesn't win, the Eagles essentially clinch the division. This game would be more intriguing if Zeke was playing, and now we also hear that Sean Lee is out for that defense too. The boys still have potential, but those are two big losses going against the top team in the conference. The Eagles still look to be the class of the NFC, and they will solidify that with a 31-20 win. Last game on Monday night is another interesting one with the Falcons visiting the Seahawks. Seattle has a big home field advantage at the Clink, and the Falcons still haven't really found themselves. The Hawks have been inconsistent, but if they can have one of their games where they are really on, they should rip Atlanta apart. But who knows if that happens. I will take the Seahawks, but just 23-20. We will review the picks after all the games next week as usual. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment, and share the videos, and subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on other social media. Facebook and Twitter are both at MA Sports Central. Thanks, and we will see you soon.